All right, so here we're going to review factoring trinomials. Tri means three, so a trinomial is an expression with three terms. Now, if we take a look at this first one right here, as long as the number in front of the first term is a 1, see how there's 1x squared? What we do is we set up two sets of parentheses, and we take the square root of this first term, right? So the square root of x squared would be x, because x times x gives us x squared. And we're going to put that in the first spot in each parenthesis. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come up with two numbers that add to this middle term, so add to 2, and multiply to this last term, so multiply to negative 24. Okay, so it may take a little bit of trial and error, but two numbers that multiply to negative 24 and add to positive 2 are going to be positive 6 and negative 4. Okay, so that is our answer. That is factored. Now, if you take a look at the next one over here, what you may notice is that all of these terms are divisible by 2. Okay, if you can pull out a greatest common factor, if there's something that divides evenly into all three terms, you want to do that before you start. All right, so this is what we do with the greatest common factor. So our greatest common factor is a 2. And then we're going to just put one big parenthesis, and in that parenthesis, we're going to write what we're left with when you factor a 2 out of each of these terms. And when you factor out a 2, you're actually just dividing them by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. So this gives us 1x squared, which we could just write as x squared. And then negative 20x divided by 2 would be negative 10x. So I'm going to write minus 10x. And then positive 32 divided by positive 2 would be positive 16. Okay, now, if we look in here, this trinomial, we're going to factor the same way we did over here. Okay, as long as the number in front of your first term is a 1, what we do is we set up two sets of parentheses, and you want to remember to bring down this greatest common factor you pulled out, right? That's part of your expression. And then within the parentheses, you're going to take the square root of this first term, so the square root of x squared is x, because x times x gives us x squared. And then you just want to come up with two numbers that add to negative 10 and multiply to positive 16. All right, so first of all, if they multiply to a positive, we know they have to have the same sign. So it's either going to be plus, plus, or minus, minus. But look at this. If they add to a negative, doesn't that tell us they both have to be negatives? So I'm going to write minus, minus. And then the two numbers that multiply to 16 and add to negative 10 would be negative 8 and positive 2. And you could put them in whatever order you want. And that's it. That's fully factored.